Hello and welcome to another edition of An English Guy Watching Wrestling. I'm that English guy, I'm Nick. Thank you so much for clicking on another video, I really do appreciate it. And in this one, I'm going to be covering the 18th of May 2021 edition of AEW Dark. And I want to apologise for the lateness of this review. I've been quite busy, and plus the fact on Friday I had my first COVID jab. And the after effects were a little strange. I'm okay now, thankfully. But basically, Friday was 2 days ago recording this, I should say. So obviously, the after effects have worn off now. So thankfully, back to normal. Still a bit tired, but then again, that's nothing new. Anyway, with that being said, let's jump right into it. Opening matchup was Powerhouse Hobbs versus Dean Alexander, and this was a very, very quick match. Powerhouse Hobbs just showing once again what he's all about. Powerhouse Hobbs, obviously being the obvious reference to it. But the thing is about this match, he's just considered to be, perhaps the most powerful man, apart from perhaps Brian Cage in all of AEW, and two of them are part of Team Taz, him and Brian Cage. So cool to see. Opening squash match. There you go. The next match was Dante Martin versus Falco, and this was a very good match too. Now, Dante Martin has been one of the MVPs of AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation because anyone who knows him knows he's one half of Top Flight, perhaps the most exciting tag team in AEW, not wrestling right now. Of course, his brother Darius is on the shelf, unfortunately, with injury. But Dante has really had the chance to step up and show what he can do, and he's been doing it brilliantly as a singles competitor. I've enjoyed his ring work. Still has the best 450 wrestling, I think. He's just fantastic. Against Falco, who I've seen before, and he's impressive. He's an impressive high flyer, shall we say. But this was actually quite a good match, to be fair. Not the longest match, it was only about 4 minutes and 14 seconds. But the work great from both men was high flying, hard hitting, great action. And I didn't expect anything less than these two. It was a fun match. I enjoyed this one. So even though it wasn't the longest match, it was a fun match. And always cool to see that. And of course, Dante Martin going from strength to strength to strength. It's so much fun to see. Definitely can't fault that. So thumbs up to what was an entertaining match. So there we go. And next match was Dark Order's number 10 versus Ryzen. And this was actually quite a good match, to be fair. And Dark Order number 10 has had perhaps the most impressive 2021 in the male division of AEW. And that's saying something because there's been some good ones, but he's been on a roll as of late. He's starting to get more chances and more opportunities. And I'm all for that because I do like him. The fact he's the only other member apart, actually, it's like there's 3 members of the Dark Order that wear masks. But he was really good in this one, to be fair. But then so was Ryzen, an AEW Dark regular, an AEW Dark Elevation Dark regular, shall we say. He's always reliable, and this was a good match from both men, actually. Even though 10 did win, Ryzen got some decent offense in this one. And those who like Ryzen, like me, you know he's great to watch. And so is Dark Order number 10. He's had the most impressive run in AEW as of late in the male division. Obviously, his fantastic match against Darby Allin for the TNT title. It's great to see the continuation of his push, and I'm all for him to get more wins because I think he's on the rise. I think one day he might get his hands on some gold. We'll see what happens, but there you go. Thumbs up for that. And next match was Chuck Taylor versus Aaron Rook. What else can I say about Chuck Taylor? It's not been said before. One of the most entertaining, best all-rounders in AEW. Always entertaining to watch against Aaron Rook making his AEW debut. And Aaron Rook is not a small guy. So for Chuck Taylor to hit the awful waffle finisher, which is almost devastating finishes in wrestling on a guy this size, was impressive. But this was a good, fun back and forth match. It was a cool match to see Chuck Taylor win because not really do you see wrestle guys that are bigger than him. But he did in this match. Chuck Taylor won with the awful waffle in about 4 minutes and 4 seconds, I'd say. But it was a fun, short match. Chuck Taylor being Chuck Taylor was one of the most innovative wrestlers there is in terms of unique offense, and does it very well. And he's been doing it for so long, so I can't fault that. And I couldn't fault this match. It was a fun, short match. And the next match was, honestly, I'm going to say one of my, if not my match of the night. Lee Johnson versus Fuego del Sol. Now, of course, poor Fuego, I've said it before, I love him. I really do. And the fact he hasn't had a win in AEW so the whole time he's been there is unfortunate. But this is probably his best performance in AEW to date against a very game Lee Johnson, who, since coming back from injury, has been very, very bright and has been since he picked up his first win in AEW last year. So my apologies, not too long ago, I wasn't too sure. But no, it wasn't last year, my apologies. But he's been on a rise and he's been showing a lot more improvement. Fuego del Sol It's always been good to watch, but in this match, he was given a chance to stretch his legs creatively in terms of his offense, in terms of where he did things, and it showed because this was a very, very good match. And it was a very good back and forth match. Like I said, this was Fuego's best performance in AEW to date. And Lee Johnson hung with him and did some very good stuff in this match. This was very, very good stuff. Even though Lee Johnson won, I don't think Fuego lost anything, despite the fact he's never won a match in AEW yet. And Lee Johnson winning and getting the continuing rise of his character and his winning ways is good to see. And what was a very good match. And I think this was definitely a good test of what both can do in AEW. And if more matches like this happen for the both of them, I'm definitely not going to be against it. But this is very, very entertaining stuff. So definite thumbs up for what was a superb match. Really, really good stuff. And next match we had Evil Uno and Colt Cabana versus Tamalian Vinish and Duncan Mitchell making the AEW tag team debut. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the Dark Order are the most popular faction in all of AEW. I'd say perhaps maybe aside from the Inner Circle, they've certainly got the most members, that's for sure. But this was a fun match too, and I really enjoy the different combinations of seeing out of Dark Order. Usually they stick to their tag teams respectively. Obviously, you've got Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, formerly Super Smash Brothers, but obviously not called that now. But Evil Uno and Colt Cabana teaming together, I have no objections to, because Colt Cabana is entertaining as they come, and as good as a wrestler as they come. He can do pretty much everything. Evil Uno, reliable veteran at this point, so good to watch him. Very, very nice guy. I've met him. Very, very, very nice guy. But there's so Stu Grayson, but intense individual, Stu Grayson. But no, this was a fun match. I think it was a cool moment to see Dark Order get some really good tag team offense between Colt Cabana and Evil Uno in this one. I enjoyed it, and fun, short tag match. Dark Order pick up the win and continuing their winning ways and continuing their good work. So, there we go. The next match we had Cesar Bononi versus Marco Stunt. And talk about a height difference. Cesar Bononi is one of the tallest wrestlers in all of AEW. Marco Stunt is the shortest of the male side. Excuse me. Excuse me. There we go. Should have taken a hay fever tablet this morning. But anyway. But no, this was a short match, and Cesar Bononi winning was something I kind of expected, because Marco is not the tallest guy in AEW, that's for sure. He's definitely got the most heart, that's for sure. Cesar Bononi winning at 2 minutes and 50, and I think we're going to be seeing a few between Bononi's faction. I forget what they're called actually. Him, Peter Avalon, JD Drake, and Ryan Nemeth. I think them and Jurassic Express are going to have a bit more of a feud down the line, sorry. Because after Jurassic Express came out after the continued beatdown after Marco's defeat, there's some tension. I think it's going to continue. So, I wouldn't mind seeing that and more matches in the future. I mean, I'd love to see JD Drake versus Luchasaurus, that's for sure. But then, Jurassic Express are definitely good when it comes to these kind of feuds. They do them on Dark a lot, which is nothing bad at all. So, but there you go. Season only one. There you go. And next match was Nick Camarda versus Adrian Alainas. What can I say about Nick Camarda? He's built like a tank. That's all I've got to say. He's built like a tank. Perhaps one of the strongest and unique wrestlers in all of AEW, because of the way he does things. It works, and his power is ridiculous. I mean, like I said, he's up there, not quite on the same level as Brian Cage and Powerhouse Hobbs, perhaps in power, just below. But he won this match in convincing fashion, and a hard power bomb at 3 minutes and 40 seconds was a crazy hard-hitting power bomb that won the match. And that was it, really. Nick Camarda continued his winning ways, and poor Adrian Alainas, I'm pretty sure he felt that power bomb. It was hard hitting, but there we go. Nick Camarda winning yet again. And the next match was another very good match, to be fair. Sonny Kiss versus Pentacle. And if there's one thing I've always said about Pentacle, is he's a very good wrestler on his own, but he's even better at Chaos Project in AEW. The fact he wasn't in the tag team, put in a very good performance, and got the win, which I was not expecting, threw me off guard. And sometimes, of course, that happens in wrestling. You've got to keep things different. You've got to change things up a little bit. And this was definitely no exception. Him getting the win was nothing. I didn't expect that at all, because obviously Sonny Kiss is one of the most popular wrestlers in all of AEW. I mean, I love Sonny Kiss. I think he's arguably the most athletic guy in all of AEW, if I can make a statement to say that. I think I will. But this was a very good match, to be fair. And the offense between both these guys was very good. They worked his match very, very well. Very two different styles, I'll say that. So Pentacle can fly, but he's also quite a hard hitter. And Sonny Kiss, his kicks are just hard hitting as well. But this was a very good match. I enjoyed this one a great deal. And so Pentacle winning, like I said, was a bit of a surprise, but no bad surprise. So sometimes you like to see that in wrestling. He definitely saw it here. So thumbs up from both of them for producing a very good match. This was good stuff. Enjoyed it a lot. And this match was Vixen and Jasmine Allure versus Big Swole and Red Velvet. Red Velvet and Big Swole and Kylan King haven't got a faction name, but they've got moves in terms of wrestling, in terms of dancing, and it's simple, really. It was good to see them continuing their winning ways and undefeated as a tag team in AEW, to be completely fair, and nothing wrong with that whatsoever. They just work as a tag team, and Vixen and Jasmine Allure have teamed together before. And they've got some decent offense in, but this night definitely belonged to Red Velvet and Big Swole. Some good moves, some good movements, some good tag team wrestling from both. But Red Velvet and Big Swole winning was the right call. Fun, but short match. There we go. My apologies. And this match was Griff Garrison versus Dion Roseman making his AEW debut. And Griff Garrison getting a rare singles out in AEW, to be fair. This was a fun match, too. A fun, short match. Griff Garrison winning here was a good call because obviously him and Brian Pillman had a match against the Young Bucks on Dynamite for the AEW Tag Team titles, which I'll be covering later on. In another review, that is. But this was a fun, short match, enjoyable. Griff Garrison picking up the win against a very game Roseman who did some decent stuff in this match. But the match belonged to Griff Garrison, so there we go. Oh dear, so my nose is going crazy. Okay, the next match was Matt Sydal versus Marty Cassius, who I've seen before in AEW. And Matt Sydal, I've said it before, is one of the best in AEW, if not the world. He's been one of my favourite wrestlers for many years. And him getting the win after a very impressive lightning spiral. The way he hit it in this match was quite innovative. I liked it. And this is a fun match. It was fantastic setting by Marty Cassius here. I mean, a guy who, again, who's not a small guy at all. He's a pretty big guy. This was a fun, entertaining win for Matt Sydal. Excuse me. So, thumbs up for that, and thumbs up for another win from Matt. And the next match was, again, a very, very good match for me. Diamante versus Chris Statlander. Again, another match of the night contender for me. And this is one that's been building for a little while now in AEW Dark. And both women put on a fantastic performance. And Diamante is perhaps her best performance in AEW today. But Chris Statlander, since she's returned, looks like she hasn't missed a beat. She's been great. This was a fantastic performance from her. And the way her power in this match was on display, shall we say. Diamante is not the smallest, I think, in terms of height, in terms of shape. She's not the smallest in the women's division for sure. Chris Statlander may just be the strongest after seeing this. But this was a very good back and forth match, to be fair. Diamante put a very, very good performance in, but so did Chris Statlander. This was what the women's division is all about in AEW. Very, very good back and forth offense, hard hitting, and just really good women's wrestling. And this was, again, a very, very good match. One of the best matches of the night for me. I thought both women put on a fantastic performance. And I'm going to say, perhaps two of the best performances in AEW to date. AEW to date. And it was great to watch, and I hopefully wouldn't mind seeing these two go out again one day. I enjoyed this one, so definitely thumbs up for Chris and for Diamante for producing cracking stuff in this one, so well done. So my nose is still going off a little bit. And this match was Rika Tahaka versus Nia Rose, and Nia Rose, the native beast, won in 2 minutes and 27 seconds after a hard-hitting beast bomb. But the thing is, we got a tiny bit of offense in, but Nia Rose just dominated the match, as she always does in these kind of environments. So for her to get the win in this one was a fun thing to do. So can't fault that. I really like Nia Rose, so there you go, thumbs up. And this match was Helico versus Vari Morales, and this was actually quite a good match. Vari is a guy who I've watched for quite a while in AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation. I think he's very good. And Helico is perhaps the best submission wrestler in all AEW because his style, the Navarro style, sorry, and it works a treat. And again showed us what he can do, and I thought this was a fun, good match. Vari did some really cool offense in this one, but the night belonged and Helico with the Navarro Deathlock, getting a win in just under 5 minutes. But a fun match. I enjoyed this one, and a good, entertaining bout between these two. So, thumbs up for that. We've also seen the main event of Luther versus Brian Pillman Jr. And talk about a very unique match. This is one of them, and I think a first time ever meeting singles wise for these two. And of course, Luther, 30-year plus veteran, knows exactly what he's doing in the ring. His character I absolutely love, the third eye character, the screaming character. It's funny, but it's supposed to be. I think that's the point. Against a very game Brian Pillman Jr. and nothing can ever be said about Brian Pillman Jr. that hasn't been said before. Such a good wrestler. It's part of the Hollywood. So it's part of the Varsity Blondes or just on his own. He really is his father's son. He really knows how to do stuff right in the ring, and he did it very well in this match. And this was actually quite a good match, to be fair. A bit of a mismatch in terms of styles, of course, but one that works very, very well. And Brian Pillman winning is, I think, the right call. Even though Luther put in a good performance here too, and of course there was outside interference from Pentacle. Also some shenanigans here from Griff Garrison, but kind of expected. And I enjoyed this one, to be fair. And this was actually a good main event. And Brian Pillman Jr. and Luther put on a very different kind of style of match because of their clash style, shall we say. But it worked very, very well. And this was a good main event to top off what was an entertaining episode of AEW Dark. So, on that high note, I will leave the review at an end here. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see everybody next time. Until next time, take care.